Hello, my name is Kirioth, and today we are going to have a little chat about The Fallen, because I've been leafing through my new copy of White Dwarf, arrived today. It's good. And on the back page, it says, The Fallen, right there. Next issue. I nearly said a week, but it's not. Next issue, The Fallen. Now, we've seen such things before, where we get a nice index of Astartes for various chapters, and if The Fallen are next up, that'll be a really fun thing to see, because The Fallen are yet another of my personal little bugbears with Warhammer 40k. There are things in this universe, in the 40k universe even, that deserve more, that deserve a bit more exposition, or at least deserve some sort of meaningful presence on the tabletop. The Sisters of Silence, for instance, introduced and then basically kind of ignored and forgotten, and yeah, they're there, you can use them. Gonna get absolutely nothing in terms of new models and any new support or anything like that, but they exist. They basically took over from the Sisters of Battle in a weird way. I don't know whether Games Workshop are just like, maybe they're just not capable of dealing with two all-women factions at the same time. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe there's like a blind spot issue. But Sisters of Silence are just kind of out in the cold. They still are kind of out in the cold. Things like Traitor Guard, you know, a vast amount of Chaos's forces are made up not of Chaos Space Marines and Demons, but of ordinary mortals, but you wouldn't know that from looking at the codexes, because there's just none. Of course, there was the stuff from Forge World, but that's gone now, and you can't buy it anymore, so you're out of luck there as well. Dark Mechanicus. Again, who builds all the demon engines? Who looks after all of the technology on the Chaos side? It's the Dark Mechanicus. Do we have any sort of rules for them on the tabletop? Absolutely not. No. So there's a few different things that just bug me in a total lack of representation on the tabletop. The Fallen are on that list because the Fallen are, at least to the Dark Angels, such a significant threat that they will dedicate a vast amount of time and manpower to hunting them down. Now, of course, a lot of that is down to their own desire to keep their near fall to Chaos a secret. The fact that a bunch of their legion pissed off and just went over to the bad guy's side, in as much as there is any such thing as the bad guy's side in Warhammer 40k. They're not happy about that. Their entire chapter is built around secrecy and keeping that fact to themselves, and so they want to get rid of the Fallen. They want to hunt them down, interrogate them, find more, eradicate the lot, then the slate will be clean. Except, the Fallen have never really meshed properly between rules and fluff. At one point, was it Gathering Storm, or was it before that? There was at one point talk of like a legion-sized force of Fallen, and then nothing happened. There's just no, it's just, yeah, that was a thing for a bit. I don't think they ever did anything with that storyline. I'm sure in Gathering Storm there was something similar, or at least there was talk of Fallen doing some stuff, but again, not a lot really happened. That seems to be the general gist of it. The Fallen are at once a significant threat and also never really expanded on. They are what the Dark Angels constantly hunt for, to the extent the Dark Angels have, over the course of many editions, had multiple rules that deal almost entirely with the Fallen, like actual tabletop rules that deal with the Fallen. And yet the Fallen themselves have never really had much in the way of a dedicated rule set that makes them in any way, well, a thing you'd want to do much with. They're great in terms of flavour, they're great in terms of fluff, in terms of building a lore-friendly force, it's doable, but in terms of having an actual Fallen tabletop force, it's not really something that it feels like Games Workshop has ever actively encouraged. And given that it's such a main story point for one of the most significant chapters in Warhammer 40k, it's always struck me as being a bit weird that that's the case. Now, of course, an index in White Dwarf isn't necessarily going to fix that. And the Fallen have had rules over the years. It's not like they've had nothing, and they do have a kind of cool model in the form of Cypher. They also do have their not-so-cool models that are just, if I remember right, retouched in Photoshop pictures of just Dark Angels, but with different colour armour. So they've got, some stuff, but not a huge amount. I'm hoping that whatever this is in White Dwarf, if it is an index, it'd be nice if it was, that it gives at least some fun and interesting method of playing a fallen army. A way of actually doing something meaningful with them instead of just them being a token force that kind of exists that you can do stuff with, but there's not a huge amount of support. Basically, like, well, what Sisters of Battle were for a long time, what Sisters of Silence are. Admittedly, with the Fallen, it's a little bit different because you could just take any Space Marine kit and do what you like with it to make it a Fallen model, but at the same time, is there any incentive to do so? Is there any drive to do so? Outside of hardcore wanting to do a bit of Dark Angels versus Fallen action on the tabletop, is there any real reason to play them? And is Games Workshop ever actually attempted to make it worth the effort to play them? I don't know that they have. And whilst it is nice that rules for stuff like that do exist, that it is an option if you really wanted to take it, something that's even better than that is an option that means that you have made a meaningful choice, that you have actually picked something that you are not going to be punished for trying to play in a fluffy and interesting way. Things like taking Cypher and 3 squads are chosen, or whatever that... I think that was 7th, wasn't it? Or whatever that one was. I mean, fine, you can do it, but what do you gain from it? Not a huge amount. It should be something that is encouraged, not something that's just there if you want to. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm really hoping that they do something interesting with them, bring them back into some sort of interesting storyline, actually finish a storyline that has them involved. That would be nice. Just do more with them than they have, because, again, it feels like another one of those factions that is supposed to be a thing, but isn't really treated as such. But we'll have to wait until the next issue of White Dwarf to see, although actually probably we'll find out from the community site before then, because they'll tease it, most likely. That's what they normally do. Are you a big Fallen fan? Do you like a bit of Fallen action? If you had the option to start an actual, properly, fully supported Fallen force, would you do so? Or do they just need to be got rid of full stop? Make them not really an anything on the tabletop at all, because they're only relevant to one other specific sub-faction. That is another option, I suppose. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click it if you don't want to. And as always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, which you can use to support the channel if you would like. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.